So, dear children, I hope all of you are fine. I'm very sorry that yesterday I missed a class. So, not an issue. Whatever doubts you have, you can tell me. Definitely, I'll help you out. Okay. So, let's start today's topic. I hope you can remember last class we have just finished where because of the Chauri Chaura incident. Okay. What happened? Gandhiji decided to stop what? The non cooperation movement. Yes or no? Okay, so there we have just stopped. So when he decided to stop non cooperation movement, after that what happened? It was nothing like that the freedom struggle of Indian people has stopped there. Clear? So today we are going to read about that when he decided to stop non-cooperation movement, then what happened? After that, what happened? That is the thing we are going to read today. So, what happened when these many mass movement had already taken place? Okay, so many movements at different parts of our country had already taken place. Because of those movements, so many leaders of Congress, they were fed up, they are tired of those things. Clear? Now they became very restless and they decided to do something else. So finally, some of the leaders of Congress they decided to they wanted to take part in the election of the provincial council. Okay, why they decided to take part in the election? Because they thought that if they will take part in the election of the provincial council, they will able to oppose the British policies, and if any changes they want in the existing policies, they can demand for those changes also. So to do that, they decided to take part in the election. Like nowadays also, the moment any political parties take part in the election, then only they can oppose the party that is ruling the government. Okay, that is the have the authority to rule the country. If you are the part of the election, then only you can oppose. Otherwise, you cannot oppose. Isn't same way. So they decided to do that. So here you need to know about two political leaders. One was C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. They formed a party named Swaraj Party, by which they could be a part of the council politics. Clear? Now at that point of time, the Indian politics, okay, especially in the late 1920s, the politics of India, the Indian politics was influenced by two things. It was shaped by two things. You need to know these two things. Which are those? The first one was worldwide economic depression. Worldwide economic depression. Okay, means economically so many nations of the world they started to suffer. So that effect had it influenced the Indian economy also. It had an effect on Indian economy also. How? In 1926, what happened? The price of agricultural products badly came down. Okay, the price of agricultural products had come down. Not only this, the demand for agricultural goods it also gone down, and as the demand became less, so the export of these goods came down. I hope you understood this. So when there was no demand of the agricultural products, the farmers or cultivators they started to struggle to sell their products because there is no demand for those products in the market. So they started to find difficulty to sell those. Not only that, they also faced great difficulty to pay their revenue. Okay, to pay the tax. So by 1930, what happened? People in especially in villages or in rural areas, they became very clueless. Okay, they are not able to understand that what to do now. Okay, so they became very tensed and confused. This was one thing. One another thing was, on the other hand, one another important issue was Simon Commission. Now you can ask, sir, what is Simon Commission? So to know about Simon Commission, before that we need to know that what is the commission. Commission, you can in general you can say that like it is a committee of some officials, of some officers. Okay, that committee is responsible to find out something, to gather some information on a particular topic. Okay, and this committee is appointed by the government. So, these type of committee is called as commission. Again I am telling, it is nothing but it's, you may define it as a official group of some people who are given the responsibility to find out something on a particular matter. Clear? So, that is called as commission. So, now here what is Simon Commission? Simon Commission was a committee or commission formed by the government of Britain. Okay, Simon Commission was a commission or a committee formed by the government of Britain. Okay, so what responsibility they were given? They were given the responsibility for what? To go to India and to study the functioning of the constitution over there, constitution system over there, and if they required any changes, to suggest those changes, that what are the changes should be done. Clear? So, they are given this responsibility, this committee, Simon Commission. So, there was a problem. The problem was that in this committee, in this commission, only British officials were there, no Indians were there. Now, you can easily understand that you wanted to know that what was the problem in India, but there is no Indian people, those who actually could study it in a better way. So, this was the problem. So, as a result, when Simon Commission landed to India, they were welcomed by the slogan, I hope you have heard about this. Okay, people welcomed them with the slogan that Simon go back. All the political parties in India, they came together because they were against the Simon Commission. I hope you understood this much. So, by saying this, the British government was also worried. So, what happened? The Viceroy Lord Irwin, who was responsible for this, okay, who was the head of this, he gave a proposal to Indian leaders, okay, political leaders. What was that proposal? So, he gave the proposal that as he given the proposal, so that in India, whichever movement was going on, the nationalist movement immediately stopped. Okay, like you can take the example, like when a small child cry, we used to give them something, that you take a chocolate, take a candy, okay, to make them quiet at that time, so that they will stop crying immediately. So, same way, the Viceroy Lord Irwin, who was the head of this Simon Commission, sorry, one thing I have told you wrong. The head of the Simon Commission was, I forgot to tell you the name, his name was John Seaman. Okay. So, under his leadership, the Simon Commission was responsible to find out whatever the issue was there in India. But when people were against the Simon Commission, the Viceroy at that time, his name was Lord Irwin, he had given some proposal to the Indian leaders. Just for what? Not for the welfare or not to solve the problem of Indian people. They wanted to stop those nationalist movement which was actually taking place against the British government. Understood? Okay, but here the Congress leaders were not satisfied with the proposal given by the British government. Clear? So, they wanted what? They wanted complete freedom or Purna Swaraj. Okay, they wanted complete freedom of India. They wanted Purna Swaraj. So, here in December 1929, there was a session of Congress leaders at Lahore, where the Congress leader decided to fight for Purna Swaraj, or to get complete freedom for the Indians. So, in the year 1930, they celebrated Independence Day on 26 January in the year 1930. Later on, which date had been adopted as the Republic Day of India. So, on that day they celebrated Independence Day and they pledged to fight for complete freedom of India, complete independence of India. Though they celebrated on this day, but this incident didn't get much attention by the people of India. Clear? So, as the next step, on 31st January 1930, Gandhiji had written a letter to whom? To Viceroy Irwin. In that particular letter, he had mentioned 11 demands. He kept 11 demands, and among all those demands, one of the most important demand was the abolition of salt tax. Okay. What are salt tax? Like at that time, people were supposed to pay tax to buy salt also. Understood? So, now you can, like, salt was used in each and every house. For these simple things, if you are supposed to pay tax, your life will be difficult day by day. So, his demand, one of the demand among those 11 demands was what? Abolition of salt tax. And in that later, he had also given a momentum to the British government. That what was that momentum? That within March 11, if their demands are not fulfilled, they are going to start something called as civil disobedience movement. So, this momentum was also given to the British government. So, after some days the same thing happened. What happened? These demands are not fulfilled, and add momentum was given to British government. So, Gandhiji started what? Something called as Salt March. Now, here I will tell you few things about this Salt March. This is very important from exam perspective. Okay? So, please understand. Few things I will tell you about Salt March. What was this? First one was, Gandhiji started this march along with his 78 trusted volunteers. Though later on some other people also joined, but in the beginning he had started this march with 78 trusted volunteers of him. Second point, you need to remember that this march covered a total distance of 240 miles. They have covered a distance of 240 miles, which started from Gandhiji's Sabarmati ashram and it finished at Dandi, a coastal town. Clear? Third point, you need to remember, these Gandhiji along with his volunteers and later on some other people also joined. They worked for 24 days. Okay, 24 days they worked, covering 10 miles per day. So, total distance they have covered 240 miles. Next point, okay, that on the way to Dandi, Gandhiji, wherever he had gone, a huge crowd joined him and they started to gather to listen Gandhiji, that what Gandhiji wanted to do or what Gandhiji wanted to tell to the people. So, Gandhiji used to tell to the common masses, whoever joined there, whoever gathered on the way, he told that what Swaraj means to the people of India. Not only that, he instructed people to disobey the British government, but in a peaceful way, to disobey their policy, to disobey the government, but in a peaceful way. And last, most importantly, that on 6th April 1930, when he reached Dandi, there he violated the salt law. Means Indians are not allowed to produce salt. So, he violated the rule, they boiled the sea water and they produced salt. With this form, okay, the Salt March, okay, when they produced salt there at Dandi, with this the civil disobedience movement have also started. And there when Gandhiji landed at Dandi, he just took a one handful salt, okay, and he told to the people, he promised to the people that with this one handful of salt, we are going to shake the mighty British Empire in India. It may sound very ordinary that एक मुट्ठी भर नमक लेके आप तुम कैसे ब्रिटिश एम्पायर को हिला सकते हो, ओके, बट he had told that with this one handful of salt, we are going to shake the mighty British Empire, and this message had a great meaning. Clear? So with this, the civil disobedience movement started. Now the next question is that what was civil disobedience movement and how was it different from non-cooperation movement? Already non-cooperation movement had taken place and now the civil disobedience movement had started. So we need to know that what it is and how was it different from non-cooperation movement. So for that thing we will discuss in the next class. I hope you understood it till now. So please go through this, and if you have any doubts just let me know. Okay, have a good time.